Welcome to the Home Business Podcast with Richard Captain Henderson, publisher of Home Business Magazine, and Sherilyn Colleen, managing editor. This how-to show helps you successfully operate your home-based business.
Greetings and welcome to the Home Business Podcast. I'm Richard Captain Henderson, your skipper at Home Business TV. Let's secure, foresee, and get underway. It's no secret that cash flow is what keeps a business running. Ideally, businesses will have enough money coming in to keep the wheels turning, but that doesn't always happen. When revenues and expenses don't quite line up, when you're having economic difficulties, or perhaps when a business opportunity arises, business owners need to be able to access credit right away to handle these costs. So this is why many entrepreneurs have small business credit cards, but using a business credit card requires using them smartly, or you can quickly get burned. To help us navigate the hazardous shoal waters of a business credit card, we're joined today by Sue Say of 1-800-ACCOUNTANT. Sue is a manager of tax and advisory services and is one of those feared MBAs. So greetings, Sue Say. Say hello to the home business audience. How are you?
I'm doing well, Richard. Thank you so much for having me today. Happy, to be part of your discussion about.
Thanks for kind of put together a quick connection here. So thanks for scrambling around. And you're calling in from the Big Apple today?
Yes, right in the middle of New York City. We're on Madison Avenue.
Yeah, I've been to New York a couple of times, and there's just an energy there that you don't have any place else I've ever seen. I mean, I went to London, and they have a financial district there, but it's nothing like the energy you see walking around Wall Street or the financial district. Are you lucky enough to live close to Manhattan, or do you have to commute in?
No, small commute, but not a big deal. Transportation's really easy here.
But I bet you got some sort of a small home office at home, maybe a kitchen table at least.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly. And I ride my scooter around the city to get around as well.
Oh, yeah, those are increasingly taking over like here in Minneapolis, they have a system where you kind of check out a e-scooter and then park it, and you never actually own one. You just kind of commute around that way. It seems to work pretty good.
Right. I have one that folds up, and it's not electric because I ride it to get exercise as well.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Kill two birds with one stone. Well, so say let's get to know you better. You manage regions within 1-800-ACCOUNTANT, and you play a key role in tax and advisory services for small businesses. Maybe just give us a little bit on how that works, or some of the things you do there.
Yes. So most of our clients come from the Eastern region, about more than half of them, and so therefore, the clientele is so large that we broke it into 3 teams for the Eastern, and I manage the Eastern 3 team. So we get really busy around tax season, and we prepare like 25,000 returns a year, and so managing the team, internal team, as well as remote accountants as well throughout the United States. It can be pretty challenging, but
that's one of the key points. Is a lot of the professional services like this are being are working remote, and
exactly.
A lot of that has gone home based. And I know some people that actually work as attorneys doing depositions from their couch. Just kind of the evolution. Plus, I guess this year with taxes, the way there was such a requirement for extensions, it's probably keeps you busy most of the year.
Yes, a lot of the extensions, we encourage them because there were so many tax law changes throughout the year, and right in the middle of tax season it changed, and then we had to wait for the IRS to catch up with the tax law changes in their forms, and then waiting for the software companies to update their tax software. So we just encourage everybody to file extensions. So therefore, December 15th is rolling around for S-Corp returns.
Yeah. President accounted for. I was extending all year long and finally got it done. I was in that. But well, let's get down to the basic. Why should you open a small business credit card? Why is that a good idea?
Well, we encourage all small businesses to open a small business credit card. It's really important to establish business credit. A lot of it's going to be based on your personal credit initially, but later on, as you grow your business, you're going to need like lines of credit, or if you have a seasonal type of business, you may not have the funding, so you may want to use your credit card temporarily to buy some inventory or whatever you need, or travel expenses. And then when you get paid by the client, you can pay off the credit card. But yeah, it's important to to use that card wisely, like you were saying, so that so that you can have a good credit rating.
Yeah, you're breaking up some real good fundamentals. Everybody thinks initially a credit card, oh, I need to put stuff on credit, but actually it's a way of building up your your personal and then business credit, but it's also a way to cover receivables.
Exactly.
And expenses. You just want to make sure those receivables are going to get paid, but that it's part of operating a business.
Exactly. But more importantly, it's better to have a separate credit card for your business, because you don't want to commingle your business
Right.
expenses with your personal. It'll just make your bookkeeping so much easier at year end. So you don't have to go through your credit card statements and highlight what's business, what's personal. But not only that, it's important for in case you get audited by the IRS. And if you commingle your business and personal expenses, they may scrutinize your expenses and say, well, you're using this both for
Right.
business
That's such a good point, because so many people instinctively set up a business bank account, but they just keep the same credit card and they're splitting them out, and that can
Yeah.
get a little bit messy.
Yes.
Credit cards can also be a little dangerous if not used properly. What are some of the hazards to look out for when using a credit card?
Well, I mean, just watch your credit limit, right? You don't try not to like max out all the time, because that's not good for your credit rating. But make sure you just pay it on time, and just use it wisely that way. And make sure that when you do, use it for business expenses, just keep in mind an important concept that the IRS looks at is that your business expenses are ordinary in your business as well as necessary. So, you don't want to like have extravagant meals and stuff like that, depending on your business, and you're not generating that much income. So just use it wisely, ordinary and necessary expenses for your business.
Now, is it true that, if the more you use the card, but then pay it off promptly, that can help build credit? So say you have a 20,000 limit card and you run up, you religiously run up 2,000 or 3,000 a month, but then pay it off right away. Is that better than just having the card there and not really using it?
Yes, you should use it. You should use it regularly, and because once you have the card, you should use it. They're gonna look at your credit history that way, that you're paying it on time, you're using it. But if you constantly have a zero balance, you're not really using it, so it's not going to help you with building your credit.
Yeah, it's really funny. One of my kids a credit card, and she never used her card, and then didn't buy anything else, and went in to buy a car, and she had a credit score of 0.00. It just wasn't there. And as soon as she started, making some credit card expenses and payments, it bumped it up. So we talked a little about some of these good habits. Do you have any other advice on good business habits in using a small business credit card?
Well, it's just important to keep track of the expenses. Like you may want to have a bookkeeping type of software to link that credit card to. And this way you can periodically categorize, your transactions as far as expenses or income, and know where things are coming in, your receipts as well as your expenses. If you do this periodically, by the time tax season comes, your job's going to be so much easier for you to sit down with your accountant. But not only that, it's important for you to keep track of your expenses. This way, you know what your business position is at any time. This way, you can do tax planning, make better business decisions. Just things like that.
Well, it's good to get your perspective, because you're looking at it from the perspective of an accountant and the IRS. So you're bringing up some good points in looking at that somebody on the other side of the fence might not look at. But one other thing on credit cards, do you think it's worthwhile to play the game with getting points and bonuses and things like that, or the cash back, or does that really in the end,
Sure.
warrant that kind of attention?
Well, I mean, that's how they, a lot of the credit cards are promoting their credit cards that way with like $500 cash
Right.
rewards. But just remember that that is considered income. Some people don't report it, but that's considered income.
Mhm.
But depending on your business needs, if that works for you, that you want business rewards, but don't just buy things because you want the rewards, but make sure that it's a valid business expense. There are other types of credit cards where there are other benefits, such as you rack up travel miles, and so if you
Mhm.
travel a lot and you like to earn rewards that way, this way you can take your family on a family vacation.
So it's worth it. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I know somebody that did huge amounts of purchases and made sure they did it all on a credit card. And the next thing you know, she had like for a whole family a trip to Bermuda.
Yes.
It was all paid on these points that were used. So that's one. I guess that is one. But if you tap into this and you're making a lot of expenses and paying them off regularly, that could be a good thing. One other question I had on cards? Do you recommend having just one card for business, or perhaps getting more than one card, or try to just keep it to one?
I mean, you can have more than one card. Depending on how large your company, and you may want to separate like certain expenses, like just
Mhm.
travel expenses, one you just use for travel, and then one you may just want to buy inventory with. So it just makes your bookkeeping easier, and you know what the card is used for.
I guess if you also have different kinds of different sub businesses,
Yeah.
say you're running more than one business, maybe
Mhm.
it's good to get one card for each type of business you're running.
Yes, that may make your bookkeeping easier in the long run. Yes.
Without getting too much into the specific brands, what are some of the best small business credit cards for one of those businesses' specific needs?
Sure. So, I mean, it really depends on like how good your credit is, and if you have some credit at all or bad credit. So, some you may not even apply. You won't be able to
Right.
apply for it. But I've seen where people use American Express, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Capital One. I've seen a lot of people use that as well. Inc. Business. But people with like less credit or poor credit, they may want to do a secure credit card, and they don't have an option, because they're not going to be able to get any business credit card if your credit is bad.
What exactly does that mean, a secured credit card?
Well, usually, like if you apply for, say, $1,000 line of credit, you're going to have $1,000 deposited. Okay.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
an escrow account.
Oh, so you're securing it then?
Yeah, you have to secure it. And that's another way of building it. So after a while, when you use it and you pay back on time, they may release that $1,000 and just, issue you a regular business credit card.
I guess if you also don't have such good credit and they come in with a higher interest rate, or you have to apply for a card with a higher interest rate, you should be able to work with that as long as you make payments on time and keep track of the balances. And then that will help, make your credit better.
Exactly. Especially like with young people, sometimes they've never had credit before, and a credit card is so easy to just spend on things.
Oh man, I was tracking my kids' mail coming in, particularly when they start getting close to graduating from college. It's just one after another, and there's no securing. They just want to get kids locked in spending on credit. And I guess they figure the parents will cover it if it gets too bad. But yeah, you've got to do the credit card. So, there are so many options to consider. Yeah. How would you recommend applying for a credit card?
Well, once you determine, your business needs, and what's important to you as far as rewards or travel miles, you have to see what you qualify for first, and then, and just start, when you go search through the internet and find these companies, you have to read through, what's best for you, what would work for you, and the amount of credit you need. just start applying for it. And you may want to apply for more than one because you may, not get approved from one and then, have another option.
I mean, do credit cards, if you apply for some of the larger ones, or do they have varying interest rates based on your credit, or is it kind of a yes or no for that card? I imagine, maybe some of them will take a higher risk credit if the interest rate's a little bit higher.
Yeah, some of them, if you have bad credit, they will charge you a high interest rate. That's correct.
Okay. Well, credit cards aren't for every business situation. We hit a few of them, but are there any other items you'd like to talk about when you would recommend not applying for a small business credit card, or maybe waiting a little bit of time before you got a
Sure.
credit card?
Well, one instance that I can think of is like if you have really bad credit and you can't manage credit cards well, or you can't manage your finances,
Yeah.
just adding more to that burden can be problematic. So, if you're not good with managing the finances, don't add more credit to your, more credit cards.
I guess why we're kind of hitting some of these tougher credit cards, because so many people get in and they use credit cards, particularly in smaller businesses, for startup expenses. And so
Yes.
it's always a little bit strapped, particularly you could take 6 months to a year to get really cash flow positive. So I think most smaller businesses that get started up, they're kind of on the tougher end in using these credit cards. So
And with high interest rate, and if you make minimum payment, it's going to take forever for you to pay it back too, and then your minimum payments gets higher and higher, and that's when you get into trouble, the interest.
Yeah, there's so many ways. I remember one person just got into this Ponzi scheme of they got buried in one card and then they got another and they transferred the balance, and you got a little bit of life, but you can't keep transferring balances from one card to the other and try to survive that way. You've got to eventually head off the debt.
I know, but that's what a lot of credit cards companies do. They make it really attractive to transfer the balance for a small fee and a lower your interest rate, but then you keep transferring and then you keep building up this, credit, and it just gets out of hand after a while.
Yeah, there's no shortage of advertising. It seems like every other commercial is to put a credit card out. So they must be making some money. The rest of us aren't. Well, this has been a great discussion on making smarter decisions with business credit cards. Do you have any final points you would like to share?
Well, I guess just be smart about it. And, this way you can focus on your business. And then you can, ask for professionals like myself, in my type of company to, help you as far as, and keep you in compliance and give you the best advice.
Yeah, I mean, talking to you, we've hit this subject before, but that accountant perspective is so important, because I think if you align your expenses with good guidance from an accountant, I think that'll also, along with reducing your risk of an audit, will also make your business easier to run.
Yes, exactly. And not like, cause like red flags for the IRS to audit you as well.
Well, Susay, thank you for being such a great guest on the Home Business Podcast.
Well, thank you so much, Richard, for having me. And thank you again for the opportunity. I appreciate that.
Thanks again. To learn more about Susay's company, 1-800-ACCOUNTANT, please visit 1-800-ACCOUNTANT.com or our podcast website for more information on guests. Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Home Business Podcast. Share your feedback with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and at our website, homebusinessmag.com. Visit the website for more information on either the Home-Based Business Startup Guide, Home Business Magazine, or the Home Business Expo. I'm Richard Captain Henderson saying anchors away. We'll talk with you soon. Thanks for joining us. Have a good day. Bye-bye.